time no see, princess.
Hi everyone, today we will have a very special interview with some of the staff of Mortal Kombat Legends Never Die, a new fan film that will be released very soon, starring Daniel Pesina, the original Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and of course Johnny Cage. Guys, thank you for being here. First of all, can you introduce yourself and tell us what role do you play in this film?
Okay, I am Jade Jackhammer. I'm actually going to be a secret character in the film that I can't let everyone know yet.
Well, obviously, for those that don't know, I'm Ross, the Gladiator Pointy, formerly a UFC fighter, a cage rage fighter.
Ross is going to be playing a Black Dragon member. You want to tell the guys a little bit about your character, Ross?
Yeah, the Saint is obviously, he's a bit of a mercenary. You know, he's a one-man band kind of thing, you know, who obviously makes his money through the fight game, as well as obviously a bit of contract killing and, you know, that kind of stuff.
I'm Master Daniel Pesina. I portray Johnny Cage after 30 years, which is very fitting. 30 years.
Yeah, my name's Alan Keane. I am a writer and producer.
So let's begin with the questions. Question number one, what's the story of the film?
Yeah, our story is mainly revolved around Johnny Cage 30 years after the first Mortal Kombat tournament. So in the Mortal Kombat universe, our story takes place between the first video game and the second video game. Obviously, we've played with the timelines a little bit because there's a 30-year gap between the two. But our story is focused on Johnny Cage and almost kind of like his slump into a depression, really, after the first tournament. Without giving too much away, all we can say is that the Outworld characters in our story are actually looking for Johnny Cage and the original members who fought for Earthrealm. And it's not in a good way. They're looking to try and assassinate as many as they can, or to try and bring them back over to Outworld. So Johnny Cage, after kind of realizing this has happened, kind of becomes a recluse and tries to hide away from this situation. And basically the storyline is kind of catching up with Johnny 30 years later, seeing how his philosophy has changed, and seeing if actually the old Johnny Cage can come back.
Excellent, very interesting. Are there other Mortal Kombat characters in this film?
There may be a couple of cameos, that's all we can say. If you look at the trailer that we released a few months ago now, and some of the stills that are being released, you'll see Katana. Katana appears in the film. Sub-Zero also makes an appearance. There might be a couple of others, but obviously you'll have to wait to watch and find out before you see that.
How did the choreography work?
You know, we've been a professional fighter for over 25 years, and you know, being in mixed martial arts and martial arts, Chinese boxing, 2 times Chinese kickboxing champion, represented England, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, mixed martial arts world champion. You know, the list goes on. I just kind of like brought what's natural to the table, really. You know, obviously Daniel and Dimitris, they have their skills as well.
Will Daniel Pesina play Scorpion?
I wish I could teleport. And unfortunately, I can't both because it would be difficult to be in 2 places at one time.
No, I think we can confirm that Daniel's role on this film is Johnny Cage. There's no other cameos or anything from Daniel in any other guys, really. He is focused on Johnny Cage, and I think Daniel really brings a different side to Johnny Cage that no one's going to expect, because obviously you kind of, when we go into this project as not as just a writer, but as an audience member, you kind of have a preconception of what Johnny Cage is going to be like. He's going to be smart, he's going to be smart, he's going to be this, he's going to be that. And kind of the way that Daniel portrays him, it's like, wow, this is fantastic. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This is going to be a much, I mean, I would say it's going to be a much darker, grittier Mortal Kombat than probably has ever been made before. I don't know, you guys might disagree with me, but it really is, and it's testament to Daniel and to Dimitri and to Ross, you know, for and the other guys that we had on this crew, because they really brought something different to this film, and it's mind blowing when you watch it. It's just gonna, your preconception of Mortal Kombat is just going to be taken away. It's I can't say anything more than that. It is just fantastic what they've done with these characters.
Nice. And how did you get Ross Poynton, the gladiator, involved in this film?
Well, I honestly, I've been acting now for professionally with my coach, who trained Rachel Shenton, who's an Oscar winner, and her husband Chris Overton. I've been training with them now for about 6 years now, every week. And obviously I've done a few other films as well, so I'm just in the process of doing Hope Street as well. We did the Mortal Kombat now, so you know, I'm just trying to get in as many movies as I can, to be honest. You know, and the more martial arty kind of movies, the better, really, because I just mesh with that. You know, it comes natural, you know, and I want more of it. You know what I mean? You know, the movie business is something I can keep going until I'm an old man, until my stick says and my leg says no more. You know, I have, you know, even if it doesn't involve martial arts, you know, I don't want to just be martial arty. I want to be able to mesh into any kind of movie. You
will see, you know, Ross gives an absolutely fantastic performance in this film. It's, yeah, really sort of surprised. No offense, Ross. You know, we knew you were going to come in as a fighter, and you know, as kind of like our villain. But the range that you showed is just fantastic. And there's one particular scene of dialogue, and it's just mind blowing. It's so good. So that's what I keep saying about this Mortal Kombat film. It's so different compared to what you think it's going to be. Mm-hmm. It's yeah, I can't kind of praise it enough for the people that worked on this. It's just fantastic. It really, really is.
One thing for sure is everyone was connected on the film. Everyone was connected through Mortal Kombat, meaning everyone who was on the film knew it and played it as a child. Todos cuando nos juntamos ya como amigos, porque todos jugamos Mortal Kombat. No había ninguna persona, y había viejos también, más viejos que yo, older than me, who were fans of the game and just fans of the franchise, and you know, they knew about all of us. So it was just one big happy family.
Johnny Cage wins.
Are there any fatalities in this film?
Well, I think that it wouldn't really be Mortal Kombat if there weren't any fatalities in it. So yes, we have some nice little tidbits for everyone to see.
I heard you are using practical effects for the fatalities. Is that true?
I'm gonna say at least one time, because I did post the practical effects. So yes, like the first game, you know, old school practical effects.
Yeah, we decided, you know, when we first ventured into this project, that we needed to have at least one fatality, and it had to be something from the original. So I'm not going to tell you which one we've got. All I can say is that it was quite difficult to film. I mean, how long were we there? I think we were there till 3 o'clock in the morning that morning filming that.
Yes.
Just take after take after take, and just like, you could kind of see everybody's shoulders kind of dropping as we were doing it again and again and again. but yeah, but that was the thing about having it practically. You know, I mean, like we've said before, a lot of the crew were big fans of George Romero, and it was quite important to us to kind of get something really Romero-esque into this film. And I think we've kind of done it. I think we've done it pretty good. I mean, from the assembly cut that we've seen so far, it looks good. I think there is going to be some touch-ups done in VFX. I'm not going to lie, but generally the practical side of it is it works.
Scorpion win.
What was shooting the film like?
It's fun, but it was really, long hours because it's a fan film. And it's a film done by love. 2, it was sacrifice. Like there were times where, Ross would have responsibilities that he would have to all of a sudden change around. And, we're just trying to get this done. And, when you make a movie, you always fall behind, and you're always scrambling to try to fit everything into the movie. So though it was fun, I would say overall it was really, really tiring.
Yeah.
And how long and difficult was it to film the fight scenes?
So with the fight scenes, I think that we had a pretty good grasp because months before we actually filmed, myself and Master Pacina we would meet up each week and then go over different ideas for the choreography, and then we would collab with everyone, sending videos to the UK. So I think that we had and given the fact that we were all real martial artists, it was pretty easy to make everything come together for the choreography.
What challenge did you have filming this?
I think our main challenge was probably the Great British weather, because about 90% of this film was actually set outside, and we decided to film. I think it was first or the second and third week of August last year, because traditionally here in the UK that tends to be our best month. So we were like, come over in August, that'll be when we get the best weather. And literally we were having like 4 seasons worth of weather in one day. It would be sunny, it would be raining, the wind would be blowing, it would be freezing. And yeah, sometimes I look back on this and think it's just amazing that we actually managed to get anything filmed, with kind of the continuity that we had with the weather and stuff. But we did, and it worked well, and it looks fantastic. So yeah, I'm not going to complain too much about that.
Is there any band in charge of the soundtrack?
Well, we've got originally a band called Lame Genie, who have very kindly allowed us to use their cover of the Mortal Kombat theme to use for this film. I am in talks as well with another band here in the UK that I know quite well that have a really great song that I really, really, really want to put into this film. I can't announce anything else at the moment because nothing's written down, nothing's set in stone yet. But yeah, we are trying to do that. But our score is all professional as well. It's all orchestrated. It's all orchestra. So yeah, so our soundtrack is huge, really. We have such a vast array of music to choose from. And I think it's really going to tie the film together once it's all finished and that, because some of it's, again, I keep saying, this film's going to be amazing, it's going to be fantastic. But some of the music that we've got is just really, just really sets the scene and really takes on the role. It's almost like an extra character in this film.
Master Pacina, how has been the experience of starring this film?
I never really, I am not the star of the film. The whole cast is the star.
All right.
Really, everyone did their part, and everyone really got the chance to not only, Ross playing Saint and creating a character, but other people stepping in and filling in, iconic character shoes, So, yo solamente no soy el estrella, no, todos, yo creo que todos que hicieron este evento.
Entiendo. Is there an official release date for the movie?
Official release date, no. purely because we're just in the final stages of it now. As soon as we get to the basically we're in the fine edit at the moment, and then it will be the sound, and then it will be released. So I'm hopeful, and fingers crossed, that it's going to be a couple of months at the most now. But as soon as I get an idea, once the fine edit is completed, should have a rough idea of when we can release it by. So hopefully it won't be too long. I desperately want it to come out soon because obviously this year is the 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat. So it would be nice to kind of get it out there for, for the anniversary and just celebrate this franchise that we all grew up loving, really.
Yeah, this question is for Ross. Did you like Mortal Kombat since you were a child? What's your story with the game?
Oh, Mortal Kombat used to be on one of the. I used to go to a kebab house where they sell kebabs, and it used to have 2 rooms, and in the other room there used to be a pool table, and then arcade games and gambling machines, slot machines. And obviously after school we used to go hang out there, and the weekends we'd hang out. And obviously they used to bring the games in, Mortal Kombat, obviously different other games, and obviously that was one of the ones that I used to play on a lot, the Mortal Kombat. And yeah, there you go, that's where it comes from. And then obviously the movies, obviously seeing the movies as they came out back in the early, was it the 90s, early 90s.
And what about you, Jade? What's your story with the game?
Oh, my story with the game. Well, I have always loved Mortal Kombat. So being a kid, and first it was Street Fighter, but then when Mortal Kombat came out, being like the first game that like actually had real people that were playing, I think it's what really in the early 90s, I was going into high school. So I was just like, they really helped solidify me training as a martial artist, because I started training when I was 5 years old, and everyone understands if you start it when you're really young, you fluctuate and you're like, oh, do I really want to do this? I want to do it. Yes, I do it. But having Mortal Kombat, like still being a kid thinking, oh my God, I want to be a protector of Earthrealm. Like there are real people in this game so I think it was just, I can't even express how much like it really meant to me to get a chance to be in this kind of subset of part of the franchise, this idea. Just it was just amazing.
And what about you, Alan? What is Mortal Kombat to you?
I'm a little bit different. I mean, Ross, you might be able to, I don't know if you remember this or not, but back in the day when Mortal Kombat was released onto home video game systems, I had the Sega Genesis.
You play Mortal Kombat with 3 buttons?
Yes, that was it. Yeah, the original way. That's how it was meant to be played. So it was released, and then suddenly after about a month, there was just this massive upheaval over here in the UK about Mortal Kombat being bloody and violent, and if you brought any of the console magazines at the time, it was always filled with Mortal Kombat, all these images. And when I was at school, the thing that we always used to try and trade was fatalities. How do you knock that person's head off? How do you rip that guy's head off with it? And that was, I think I did it. I was just messing around. I did it like this. So for many months, it was almost like I kind of look back on it really fondly because that was kind of like my childhood. You know what I mean? That was like, I didn't go into school to learn French. I went into school to see if somebody had ripped someone's heart out with Kano. I think it was a combination of, because the gameplay was pretty good as well. Gameplay was very, addictive. Mortal Kombat 2 came out and again introduced those, characters. And I honestly think that the whole franchise is successful is because it's the guys like Daniel and Hosan and Richard who kind of brought those characters to life, because there are so many fighting games out there these days, but there are not many that have stood the test of time like, say, Mortal Kombat has. And it's because of the affiliation to the characters. People love the characters. And I was the same. I mean, on the last day when Daniel was on set, and he actually signed me an autograph, and it was the actual picture from Mortal Kombat 2, and he put to my greatest fan, and I was just like, I've always wanted one of them. I've always wanted that. You know, that's what it meant to me. And I think a lot, like Daniel said, a lot of the people who worked on this film all had that affinity and that love for the game as well. So yeah, sorry, I've spoken too much, but yeah, that's what it meant to me.
Uh-huh.
Can I say something else after what we were thinking about, or just to go along with this? I think that another really big thing is the fact that, so I train in Shaolin martial arts. I train at the Shaolin Temple in China. And the fact that Mortal Kombat was like literally the first real game to show off like really the beauty of like Chinese martial arts. Like even back to Nintendo having like the game Kung Fu, it wasn't really like it was Chinese martial arts. Street Fighter, it was all based off of like Japanese martial arts mostly. Though there were characters like Chun-Li, you couldn't really see it. Mortal Kombat really had a good way to distinguish like the different styles, and for someone doing Chinese martial arts, it was really good to see that.
Yeah, and Daniel, you got us into so much trouble as kids because we used to have to sneak Mortal Kombat into each other's houses, because like as soon as it was on the news that Mortal Kombat was this and that, all the parents tried to outlaw it. So it was almost like trading like dodgy videos at school. Like, yeah, there you go, bring back on Wednesday. I've got to get it home first. You know what I mean? It was just fantastic. I can't say anything.
Guys, do you have any final words for the people who is waiting for this movie?
Oh, you're gonna be sitting on the edge of your seat. A bit of anticipation, a bit of excitement. Bit of comedy. There's a bit of everything in there. Humor. Suspense, mystery, murder. It's got it all.
But it's still nice in a way that I have a 6-year-old son that I'm gonna let watch the movie.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So it's one that not will it be accepted by adults, but we have this nostalgia just from 30 years later.
For me, it was more about the friendship and the family that we really made together in England. I think for me that's the most. It was cool to make the movie and things like that. But and then I'm going to cut to Spanish real quick, and then I'll explain to you. Cuando yo fui a Chile, yo conocía poquito español. Más hablando con mi amigos y amigas, ellos hablaban era español nomás, no lo entendía. Cuando yo fui a Inglaterra, mismo, era inglés nomás, no lo entendía. I am telling them about how in England, Alan and Ross, like I speak English, but not the English that they were teaching me so many things about my own language and about how really the culture is really, really different. And I was talking to them when I went to Chile, same thing. I speak Spanish, but when I was talking to them, I was like, what? And they speak the fastest Spanish that I've ever heard, and I've been to a lot of Spanish-speaking countries, and they are the fastest. And two, they have a word that means like one word, and it means like 30 different things. It could be a big insult, or it could be you're my best friend and I would die for you. So
are you talking about the word weón?
Yeah, weón. Yeah.
Yeah, we have that word.
Yeah. So that learning about that made like a kind of a kinship with me when I was learning about like different things, getting educated on stuff. It was so really cool to exchange in that, see how people, what their favorite dishes were, or what they're thinking about other things, and what it, just the descriptions were really, really good. So it really made a really good friendship. So, Legends Never Die really, really will make friendships.
Yes. Yes.
What about you, Alan? Any final words?
I mean, I'm going to echo everything that the guys have said already. It was, it was a very tough shooting schedule. It was very difficult. I'm not going to lie. But out of that, the friendships have evolved. I mean, how many people can actually say they've worked on a film and stayed in contact with pretty much most of the crew and cast that worked on it? And that's kind of where we are with Legends Never Dies. That in itself is fantastic, and it's great to sort of to have those relationships with these people on the crew that we've met. Also, I'm going to say this, to anyone that's anticipating the film, this is a fan film, so don't think this is going to be super Hollywood, because it's not. But on the other hand, this is going to be a Mortal Kombat film like you've never seen before. This is darker, it's grittier. It's very much what Mortal Kombat would be in the real world. And I can't wait for you to see, Daniel's performance as this Johnny Cage who's down and out. It's unbelievable. It's fantastic. And I just want to publicly say to Ross and to Jade and to Daniel, thank you so much for being in the film. I know we put you through hell, but looking back on it, it seems like it's worth it. So thank you so much for your help and your generosity in filming it with us. From me and the rest of the crew, we appreciate it so much.
Todos van a tener miedo cuando ven a Ross. Everybody's going to be afraid when they see Ross.
Yeah.
That guy's scary, brothers. That's awesome. It adds so much to the movie.
I already fear him. Right now.
You should, but before.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for being here, for your time. We will be following this movie very closely, and of course, you can count on this channel for everything you need. So, thank you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.